Uh, as most people do know, entertainment is a very subjective opinion. Entertainment is defined as the action of providing, or in the case of cinema, being provided with amusement or enjoyment. And since the latter two are based purely on personal experience and preference, entertainment is obviously a subjective opinion. For my first movie podcast, I already said this. I'm going to focus more on the entertainment aspect, but it is a very subjective part of film, just like everything in film is very subjective. But for now, bringing in three of my close friends to add a little bit of objectivity into the ranking I'll do this week. Uh, just looking at the screen, we have collected 12 movies that we consider to be the most entertaining in our humble opinion. Over the podcast, we will bring down these 12 to one singular movie, which would be the definitively undefinitive most entertaining movie of all time. Not sure if that's a word, but I'm going to use that for now. Uh, there are a lot of honorable mentions and arguably more entertaining movies that we did consider, but they're due to some other reasons uh, we were not able to include them here. Just one movie that I do want to mention right off the bat is Full Metal Jacket, which I do think the first 40 minutes of that movie is the most entertaining 40 minutes of film that I have ever seen. But if we need to have a full movie of entertainment, 40 minutes of out of 2 hours doesn't count as a full movie. So these are the 12 movies we have picked as the most entertaining in our opinions, and we're going to bring them down over the next
Yeah.
amount of
So
time.
you were saying there, and this is exactly what I was thinking when you said most entertaining. It's very subjective, and it was
Yeah.
hard for me to think like, what does entertainment mean? I actually looked up the definition just to see like what that and think what that means to me. And another thing is it changes over time. There's so many movies, like you said, that we haven't seen. So many movies that we have seen, we just don't remember. And there are movies that would have entertained us as kids and not so much now. So it's very subjective, especially to different people, different ages, all of that. So all of that can be affected, but these are movies that we remember and we chose for today. So yeah.
Just like you said, this is stuff that is so subjective that it even changes over time with the same person. Back when I was a kid, I might love Scooby Doo, but nowadays it isn't as entertaining for me as it would have been back then. Maybe my younger siblings, movies like John Wick, which I just showed them a few days ago. For some reason, they don't find it as being extremely entertaining.
Wait, you saw them, John
Wow.
Wick?
Yeah,
Wow.
just the first one.
Wild.
But it's just something that changes so often, and I kind of wanted to use this as my first starting off podcast just to see how it works out, how to get through it and learn how to get the podcast going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
there's also entertainment in different ways too. Like movies can be entertaining in so many different ways with their whether it's like the graphics or the storyline, or just getting you on the edge of the seat. So these I think you have some good movies on here, all for different reasons. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Before we start off with the ranking, I'm gonna allow for each of you to introduce yourselves a little bit. Just name. What do you love about movies? Whatever you want. But go ahead. I guess we start off with Nigel.
Okay. I'm Nigel Hoffman. I'm a close friend of Yabane, and he's invited me here today to the podcast, and I'm really excited. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Good enough, Billy.
I'm Billy. I see that all these movies. I haven't watched all of them, but I did look up some reviews or trailers. So I hope I can be as partial or fair to each of the movies, even though I haven't seen them. But I'm excited.
Nebby.
Yeah, I'm Nevi. I'm here. Yeah, I'm a fan. Today we're going to be looking at some movies. We're going to be discussing the most entertaining. Of course, it's subjective, and I'm looking forward to entertaining you guys about entertaining movies.
Yeah.
Nice
Billy
work.
here has shown me some great movies. He's great with movies. You know, I haven't like watched a whole lot of movies in my lifetime, but I look forward to watching some more, especially ones that Billy suggests.
I don't want to take too much credit. Yablek's more of a movie expert. You know, he actually studied film.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's why I started the
Right.
channel.
Before we even get started and like this video.
Yeah, what Nebby said. Also, go and subscribe to Neb the Hub. I'll have his link in the description.
Thank you. Thank you. Link in the description.
He said he would, yeah.
Okay, just
So-
go ahead.
Do you want to explain how this ranking system works? Because I
Yeah.
see brackets, but I'm not sure exactly because you have other movies in the second row. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I didn't want to start off with too many movies because this is the first one, just gonna adjust it. So we're gonna go with 12. These are all in random order. We will go with first round. We'll bring them down. These are the ones that randomly got chosen for first round buys. So they're already here: Kingsman, The Dark Knight, Prince of Persia, and The Shawshank Redemption. Once we get to each ranking, we'll just argue it out. If you want one, go ahead and argue and make your point, and we will each vote at the end. If there is a tie, I am gonna bring in my little brother to break the tie for us. For now, let's begin with Mad Max Fury Road versus John Wick 3. Is there anybody? Go ahead.
Before we start, I noticed that you kind of, I don't know if I'm right, but did you like separate these into similar genre, like Mad Max, Fury Road, and John Wick, The Matrix and Inception, Joker and Quiet Place? They seem like they're in the same genre.
Oh shoot!
Did you
I
do that in the same genre?
No, I made it completely random, but that was
Okay.
a very nice catch.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that too, and then you said they were random, and I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
One thing that I saw you had just a minute ago or in your second tab there, is trailers. So should we like start off watching the trailers and kind of see what we?
If you would like, we can do that. I was just gonna play it in the background as we talk about the movies.
That sounds like a good idea.
Whichever you guys would prefer is fine with me.
Maybe whoever introduced or suggested that movie should maybe say why they suggested it first.
Okay, so for Mad Max Fury Road versus John Wick 3, I think both of these movies were my suggestions. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Mad Max Fury Road and kind of argue my point for that. And what I'm gonna do is, because Billy is the one that kind of got us onto the John Wick franchise last year, I'm gonna have him argue why John Wick 3 should be more entertaining movie.
All right.
I have seen both of these movies too.
That's good.
I've seen John Wick only, not the other one. So I'll try to be
Very nice.
subjective.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Mad Max. So.
I've seen Mad Max like 3 or 4 times,
Mhm.
and it's just crazy when I think about it. The movie is pretty much just pure suspense and action for 2 hours straight. If
Yeah.
you go on and look at any video essays on the internet, this is purely a 2-act structure. I'm sure you guys know about like the whole 3-act thing. You know, the getting the hero getting what they need to do, finally going out and embarking on the journey, and then kind of returning after what they've gotten, what they need. This has none of the exposition. It just goes straight into the action. And the fact that it's just purely action, just look at the trailer itself. It's just action and on top of action. And it just keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time, giving you very few breaths with just a whole bunch of excitement. And just looking at the amount of time that they put in, very like interesting fact. The guy who directed Mad Max is the same guy who directed Happy Feet 1 and Happy Feet 2 and a lot of other movies that you just wouldn't expect from him. But even like looking at that, all of the movies that he does direct, they're great. They're unbelievably suspenseful, actually. This movie, it goes from the beginning to the end. It barely gives you a breath. It's just suspense all the way through.
Yeah, this movie, I remember seeing a trailer for it before it had come out, and I didn't know the premise of the movie or anything, but you don't really have to when seeing the trailer. The trailer speaks for the movie. I saw it and I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool because it's all desert and it takes you to this whole other, world, and everything seems dry and crazy, and they're riding these big vehicles, so it definitely depicts that picture in those trailers, and just seeing it, you can see how just it's bare, but it's there because it really paints a picture of the setting, and that's what's so important to the movie is the setting.
Yeah, there are three other Mad Max movies, and I didn't see a single one of them before watching Mad Max Fury Road, and I didn't really need to because there's no
Yeah.
necessity to watch the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
And that's Go
I
ahead.
never seen any of the movies, but I have seen a lot of clips and trailers like prior to this, and I gotta say, it is a movie that I've been wanting to see for a while. Actually, I think I might see it today, like after this, because it seems interesting.
Yeah, that's
Is this a spoiler free episode video? Can we talk spoiler?
what you say.
What do you say?
Is this a spoiler free YouTube video, or can we talk
For
about?
now, we'll try and keep it spoiler free for now. But I can't lie. If it's a movie that all of us have watched and it gets kind of close, we might have to go more into the.
We'll say if we're about to do a
Yeah,
spoiler or something. How's that?
yeah.
All right.
Okay, Billy, go ahead and argue your point for John Wick.
See, when I first started watching John Wick, like I don't think it came out the way I thought it was gonna be. Um, I didn't I didn't think that this guy would be like dark, have a dark past. I thought he was a regular guy, and it surprised me a lot that what his past was and what he did. And what I liked really was that he went from a bad side to a good side, and once he did, he didn't like kind of go back to bad side, but he still did bad things, but it was for the good. And what I liked about this was the combat style, like the close combat. What I liked that it's usually one on one, one or three. It's not like a group of people fighting. And I think that that was a good thing because it keeps you very focused as well. One other thing that keeps you very focused is like the dialogue. There's always good dialogue.
That is one thing where I would say that Mad Max is maybe at a weak point there because there is very minimal dialogue. It is mainly action based. And the same thing for John Wick 3. My main point for Mad Max is just it's nonstop action, right? But John Wick is if there's any movie that's closest to that, John Wick is at least the first two movies. I was having an issue as to which one of the three movies I should pick to put on here. And when it comes to like the first movie and then the second movie, the first movie there's some exposition that kind of you are getting immersed into the world. But as always, exposition isn't the funnest thing and the most exciting thing. But then when it comes to John Wick 3, you watch the first two movies, you know the concept, you know what's gonna come. But either way, it surprises you with bringing in a lot of more interesting and new, just like combat styles, fighting styles, just all of that stuff that really just surprised me, and I didn't think that they would be able to top the first two movies.
And the beautiful thing about John Wick 3 is the passion that drives him to fight. You think if somebody kills your dog, it's really no big deal. Like react this way, but this guy goes and like just start murdering people just to get to one person over a dog, and I really like that because that's not something you would see every day.
It shows character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John
And
Wick 3 was the first John Wick movie I've seen in the whole series, and instantly, I loved all the characters. You know, you know how when you fight for when you like a character, you like want them to succeed, and that like adds a level of like what's the word connection with the movie that I enjoyed. But I will say that like looking back on the movie now, there wasn't really much to it except like its main idea. And I like when there's like a lot of aspects in play, but I feel like it was like one line going straight. and not really like any major twists or turns.
I'm just kind of really hoping they've done a great job with the first 3 movies, and they're making a fourth one. Let's just
Yeah.
Oh
hope
yeah.
that this is good. If there is anything else that anybody has to say about either movie, go ahead. If not, we'll just vote as to see which one moves on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fully remember the storyline from Mad Max. And then I saw of course, John Wick 3 with you guys. I haven't really seen the other ones. I have to do that for sure. But I was able to follow the storyline in John Wick 3. Billy filled me in, and you guys filled me in on some of
Oh yeah.
the other stuff. I guess we don't, can't spoil anything, but for like Mad Max, it was more action, and that's kind of what I remember about it.
Okay. For now, what we're gonna do is, if you, on the count of 3, if you choose Mad Max Fury Road, raise your right hand. If you choose John Wick 3, raise your left hand. All right. 3,
Wait, so okay, left, right,
right, Fury Road, left, John Wick 3.
alright.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Mad Max Fury Road or
Well,
It's
what if
tied.
Nigel is like on the opposite side of me, so his left hand?
that's what
Alright.
I'm starting to think here. You know what we're gonna do now? Except for that, raise 1 finger if you're going with Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh.
Raise 2 if you're going with John Wick 3. That's probably
Oh.
more distinguishable. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
There was three playing up too.
Okay.
But what
John
did you
Wick
say,
3. Huh?
You put one.
Yeah, I put 1. It's 3 to 1.
Whoa.
John Wick 3 wins that one. Moves on to the next round. Okay, now we're gonna move on to The Matrix versus Inception.
Yes.
These are 2 movies that are really close together, just in
Yes.
concept and choreography, the way that they were executed. But for The Matrix, I really want to go with Nebi's perspective on this, because he has a really interesting perspective that I haven't heard about this movie in a
Yes.
while. And Nigel, have you seen Inception?
Inception? No, I haven't.
Okay, I will go ahead and argue my point for Inception. So far, we've been talking pretty good about the past 2 movies. I think this might change up a little bit with Nebi and this one on The Matrix. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, I hate what's that movie called? Matrix with a passion. You know,
Wait, what?
so much, huh?
You say you hate what?
Matrix.
The Matrix,
Oh, okay.
because there was so much hype around it, and when I finally sat down to see it, the whole time I was waiting for what's the hype built for. You know what I mean? Because honestly, like I like the concept of what's real, what's fake and stuff. But I just thought the movie was just there was little action, and the action was like okay, I guess, like the slow motion, like moving, dodging bullets. But I feel like the storyline was kind of weak, and for a long time the whole thing was boring, and I never really cared for the characters at all. So that's my take on it.
Well, see,
Inception
when
for me.
I first heard this, I just automatically thought, this is a movie that came out in 1999, right? And back then, this was like brand new back then. It was unseen. The slow motion bullet scene, it was unbelievable for most people, and it just caught people by surprise. But then Nebi, you probably watched it like 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah. No, I watched it like this, like maybe once a break.
Wait. Before you guys go on, the bullet scene you're talking about on the rooftop?
Yeah.
And I mean, even the one at the end. With
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay, I guess. Yeah.
Well, much.
It's just you know
That was a
uh,
great scene.
yeah. But when it comes to Nebi, just like having seen all the movies that came after it, and after The Matrix, every single movie tried to copy the style that they had. And once Nebi finally saw it, got around to seeing it, it just wasn't new to him, and it just wasn't as cool when he saw it, right?
when was it made again?
1990.
1999.
Yeah, with respect to it today, I I'll give it like I guess it was pretty cool. I mean, if I was that old, but you know, me, I've seen so much better because time.
But you do have some fairly good criticisms when it comes to just the character of Neo as a whole. He
Oh yeah,
doesn't
yeah. The character, yeah.
go extremely in depth with his character throughout the film.
You know what's funny though? Like the actor who plays John Wick, I was just like, oh, I really like I connected with the character. And he's the same actor for this movie, and I'm like, I didn't connect with the character. So it's like even maybe his acting improved to where I like him more in the future. So I guess like maybe not all the time the old is better. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
I mean, when was this Inception made? I mean, I haven't seen Inception. Inception. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but my experience with uh Matrix wasn't quite well.
When it comes to Inception, it's pretty much the Matrix of our generation. It was made in 2010 by Christopher Nolan, same guy that made The Dark Knight, all the Batman movies in the trilogy. Dunkirk, Interstellar. He's a really great and revolutionary director overall. Kind of called the Stanley Kubrick of our era. But just looking at Inception, I have a lot of the same like praises as I do for The Matrix. Just like the way that it's revolutionary in thought. It's like a dream within a dream within a dream. Dream catchers going into other people's dreams and changing how they think about stuff. Overall, it's a really new and amazing concept. And just looking at just like the Matrix bullet scene, right? The Inception hallway fight is, in my opinion, just as amazing and just as cool, and even possibly just more exciting. Knowing the background of it, from me, I know that they did it with practical effects. It's just crazy thinking about the entire premise of the movie, and it just excited me throughout the movie, going from, I won't lie, the first 20 minutes is super exciting. Seeing how the dream works. They just jump you right into the action from there. But then after that, there is a lot of exposition, and the female character, the female character is mainly just to dump out a whole bunch of exposition throughout the entire.
Yo,
Yeah,
I never
this
seen I seen this picture in so many like memes and stuff
yeah
of him running on the wall, but I actually never knew it was from here.
yeah, it was crazy. When I first saw it, this is one of the first movies that I saw in theater, and Christopher Nolan's movies are just made for the big screen. And it just amazed me when I first saw it at like the age of 12 or the age of 11. It was just crazy to me, and it was just unbelievable. And I kind of get what Nebby has to say about the Matrix and Neo, like the character of Neo. But when it comes to this, and then the character that Leonardo DiCaprio plays, he plays more the Leo character. If you have to transfer one to another as the main character, he has a much more better and much more built off character arc. I don't want to spoil anything as of now. Um, but it's a better character arc than in Neo. And that just kind of puts Inception on a slightly higher place for me than The Matrix. But The Matrix is still a great movie overall.
Yeah, I guess what I was expecting is like a Doctor Strange type of world bending stuff.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
That
that's
that has
good,
also.
good comparison there. But yeah,
that's a good point, Nevin. Yeah, a good
it's
comparison.
it was very good. I think like you said, with the times is this one's you said this almost the newer Matrix of our time. Um, which I haven't seen Inception. So I'm not sure, but seeing this and you talking about the big screen, it does sound really good. And really just stuff has come a long way for like um, doing producing and all of that. They stuff is can be way better nowadays. So it's also kind of biased for the time that it was produced, but yeah.
Okay. From this point on, because our arguments are kind of going longer pace, I'm gonna set 5 minutes limits on them.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes one person, 2 minutes another, and then contribute for overall. But
Uh-huh.
for now, one finger for the Matrix,
May,
2 fingers
may,
for
may I
Inception.
say something about those
Go ahead.
movies?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing I like about those two movies, I haven't seen Inception, but like I saw reviews and trailers. But one thing I like is the way that we can connect to them. As you said, they deal with like dreams and illusions, having being able to realize that you're in a dream. But the thing is, while you're in the dream, you don't realize that you're in a dream until you wake up. And I find that very interesting. And one thing I also liked about Matrix was the video you were just playing now about blue pill or red pill. It really I don't know, it really challenges the mind to think, well, what would you do in a situation like that? Although you could never put yourself in a situation like that.
Yeah. Uh, Same thing. One finger for the Matrix, 2 fingers for Inception. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, two. I think two,
Inception is
two, two, 1.
okay. Now moving on to Joker versus A Quiet Place.
So,
For here, I'm gonna have Nebby once again because he had such high praise for the Joker when it originally came out, and without any spoilers, the twist in the Joker that Nebby just was amazed by it for some reason. I mean,
Uh,
Nigel really pushed for me to have A Quiet Place in here, so I'm gonna have you two go ahead and argue those two out.
I
could I ask Nubbles if you've seen A Quiet Place?
I was watching it at church, and then one of the parents came
Huh?
and said, like, "Did you want to allowed to watch that bit?" So I never
Yeah.
finished it. I watched like first 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't quite remember. But,
I have not seen the Joker, though. I've
all right,
heard
so
about it, but I haven't
you want to
seen
go first, or should I?
it. You can go first if you'd like.
A
All
Quiet
right.
Place is playing right now, so I'm gonna have Nigel go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. This
Oh.
I love this movie. I'm waiting to rewatch it before the second one comes out. There will be a second one, but
Yeah,
I loved it. It's just very different and it's a great idea. I think first off, as you can see in the trailer, just the scenery, it just sets the tone for everything and all these paths, everything. They didn't need the stuff that typical horror movies need with the jump scares and all that sort of stuff. This was all set, it's in your mind. You can see it, they're going down this path. You're thinking, what's going to happen next? You feel for the characters. You definitely develop an emotional attachment to some of these characters. And there are some crazy, parts in this, but it's just so different than any other, like horror film. Like, for example, it's very, highly praised. It was kind of one of those movies that everybody just had to watch. But there were some things that it's like, why, it didn't quite make sense, or, but this movie was just very, even though it is, science fiction, it's scary, and it's like it keeps you on the edge of your seat without having to be just, kind of weird horror. It could just, I just loved it. The emotional attachment to the characters, the scenery, the story, and the factor of just scariness. It was still scary while having all of this there because it kept you on the edge of your seat. So
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
entire premise of, you can't talk or you can't make noises or the monsters won't get you. Even looking at this, she has to cover her mouth just so she won't scream and get killed herself as her child's about to get killed. This might be a bit of a spoiler, but it was already in the trailer, so I don't think it's that big of a spoiler in my opinion.
Mhm.
But just the entire premise, and I get everything, the scenery, everything that just makes it even scarier movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Go
you're
ahead,
always
maybe.
waiting to see what happens next. And the talking, like
Um,
you said, was just it didn't need, a whole bunch of talking. It was just cool. I loved it. All right, sorry.
Yeah, nephew, do good
I
job. I like this movie.
Joker, yeah. I mean, yeah. When I saw the Joker, there was twists that like blew me away, and I was like, really like, okay, this thing, it's like it's almost surreal. Like you can picture it in reality, it has some really real aspects to it, and then like I mean, you look at the near the end of the movie, like the uprising, and we're seeing that today, and it's like so many parallels with like, and there's so many deep topics too. It's like this one goes really deep, and the scenery is amazing, like Nigel said, and then like about his movie that he liked, and the tone here is really set by the entire setting, and it's like the characters are cool, and it's like, I mean, saying like a lot. I'm like, really down. What am I doing? But I'm like, yeah, what I gotta say, but this movie, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil the twist because like it does, it's really great, and it's just I really do like how it's like these are characters I know. We all know the Joker and we all know the Batman, and it really like shows these characters as if they were real. And it's like I guess I might be a little bit biased because I like supervillains, and like it really does seem really cool to see them live action on a big screen. But like honestly, I think the story here is fantastic, and it's like the story is number one for me, and that one just it
Just
completed the
one
job.
critique that I have about this movie, just like the Batman thing, like Batman as a kid, and then he inadvertently made Batman. It's it's not a bad thought, and I understand like why they had it in there, but just for me, aside from that, the entire movie is like an edge of your seat thriller for me. But that Batman premise, them trying to just shoehorn it in, it kind of it just didn't work for me.
Well, which part you mean? Like when he saw like little Bruce?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it's in there, but just
I don't.
when he went up to Boost, and then at the end of the movie, spoiler right here, definite spoiler. Nigel, I don't know, you might want to.
It's fine.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
But he starts the riots and everything, and then you remember at the very end where it's like one person because of the riots went out and then shot Bruce Wayne's parents, right? That part, while it does work,
Oh yeah.
but for most people, for me, it just seems a bit shoehorned in. And I feel like if they didn't add that in, the movie would have been just as good and maybe even better because then Joker, I feel like this one's trying to be, it is a standalone Joker movie. And then at the end, it's like, oh, shoot, we got to add some stuff about Batman just to make sure people know the comic book movie. That's just
I
one
mean,
thing that didn't work for me.
One
yeah.
one thing I loved about this film is the comic relief. Oh
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I gotta say that to be able to add some comedy in here when like you're also trying to be serious, like by showing mental awareness, that's a very that's a very creative thing to do. And what I'm specifically talking about, a scene. This is a spoiler, by the way. When Arthur, the Joker, kills Randall, his former coworker
Oh
when he was a clown. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and then the midget tries to leave, and then he gets to the door and he can't open it, and then he says, "Hey Arthur, can you come help me?" Even though Arthur just killed Randall.
that was really like
That
that
was
figure
a
I got to see.
hilarious scene.
Yeah. And now I'm
I
thinking
was
about like also the music was great. It really went well with the whole entire movie.
Yeah, that scene.
The laughing that he did, like, and like the painful laugh, it was just like, it was really cool. Yeah.
it
Yeah, like
definitely.
around there.
When I first saw it, I think I told Billy this. It's just a movie that enticed me from beginning to end. And
Yeah.
just for me, that definitely plays into the entire excitement factor, right? It's from the very beginning. For some movies, I might be like, oh, watching it, and I might get bored at one point. From the very start to the very end, I just couldn't take my eyes off it. Just
Yeah.
exciting to me in that aspect.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Does anybody have anything else to say before we go ahead and rank these two?
Yeah.
Okay, one finger for the Joker, two fingers for a Quiet Place. Three, two, one.
Oh wow.
Ooh, we got a
Uh,
tie.
I can't
I will
remember.
be right back.
Maybe,
I'm gonna
maybe
get
we
my
gotta
brother.
come back to it. And
No, I got my brother. My brother's gonna break this.
oh yeah, he's doing the tie. I forgot.
I'm not saying Quiet Place is bad, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
this movie.
I hate that too. I'm so biased here because I just love
I
A
know
Quiet
same thing.
Place,
I'm
and I haven't seen a Joker, or the Joker, so I can't. You know,
Yeah.
Hey,
What movie?
Yabo, it's about to end.
you have
Oh,
to when
All right.
the Quiet Place.
Video is about to end, Yabo.
Okay, my brother is here. He's gonna. Okay, have you seen Joker or Quiet Place? I know you've
But
seen.
you have to see the movie before the second one comes out and watch them both.
Yeah.
That's
Would you
what I
rather
want to
watch
do. They
the,
push back the
the
release
Joker or Quiet
of
Place?
the
Is
second
more
one.
excited.
I mean, it's gonna be on Netflix though.
Is it?
Quiet Place.
I mean, isn't it like a Netflix series?
Thank you. My brother has chosen A Quiet Place.
Or oh,
No, it's a good movie though, really.
yeah, I know.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but that scene we just saw, I really like that. That's interesting.
A lot of the movie is like that too. That's how it is entertaining. And an amazing thing is there's not much. There is some talking, but it keeps you on the edge of your seat without even talking. You're hoping for the characters. You're wondering what's going to happen next. Sometimes you know what's going to happen next, but you don't want it to happen. It's that sort of thing that's really just is awesome.
We are back now. As of now, we have John Wick 3 versus The Shawshank Redemption. Inception moved on. A Quiet Place moved on. Now, last of the first round, Django Unchained versus Deadpool. Two movies that, despite having very different premises and very distinct directors, just to me, they seem to have kind of like the same kind of tonal style. You know,
Uh-huh.
they got the serious aspects. They have the really funny aspects. It's just two movies that kind of go hand in hand. Like Billy said earlier, all of these somehow kind of matched up with the genre style, and these two are go right along with that. When it comes to Deadpool, that was Nigel's choice. So we're gonna have Nigel argue Deadpool, and Billy has some very high praise for Django Unchained, so I'll let him go ahead and argue for
All
that. I'll
right,
let Billy will start.
you start, Billy. Yeah.
Yo, first thing I gotta say is this movie is hilarious from the beginning to the end. They don't stop with comedy. When the protagonist is in danger or like he's you know how at the end of the movies where they're I guess where the conflict rises for the protagonist and they're about to reach like a resolution or
Yeah,
like a good point, like literally right after this scene. Even during that time, it was funny. And what I'm talking about specifically is spoiler when they capture Django, the black guy, Jamie Foxx, and they tie him up upside down and they start messing with him. I don't want to go too much in details, but like even though he's in trouble, like it's so funny that it's like it keeps you entertained throughout the movie, and you can't keep your eyes away no matter what the violence or disturbance you see, and I really like that. And what I liked about another character is Doctor. I don't remember how to say his last name, but he's German.
so
The guy sitting on the right of Django.
Christopher Waltz is just amazing.
Yes, yes. He's just careless. I liked him primarily because he's a white guy in a time of racism that it's not that he's anti racism, but he doesn't see color truly, and he accepts Django at the beginning, and his goal is not is it has nothing to do with choosing the I guess the racist side or the anti-racist side. He like um I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but basically he's a funny guy. At the beginning,
Oh,
He just randomly shoots a guy without letting anyone know, and then they find out that he's a bounty hunter, and that's like it's so funny. I had no idea what he was doing. I really thought they were about to catch these two guys, hang them. It's just so funny, surprisingly entertaining for a movie that's trying to show awareness for something. That's
not
what I
even
got.
trying to. It really does. It gets across the point of like the buffoonery and like the comedic side of just the racist, the antebellum South that Tarantino was really trying to get across. It's like the point
Yeah.
that he was getting across, and he really did get it across in this movie. Just one thing, when it comes to like, I know I wanted to have a Tarantino movie on this list because he is great at creating suspense and excitement and just everything overall. Um, I really had trouble choosing which of his movies. It was mainly between Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Inglorious Bastards, and Django Unchained. And one factor was that I knew that Billy really loved this movie, but
Mhm.
also it just comes to like you said, like there's a sense of comedy in this movie that arouses excitement, but also the seriousness and then just the action. Or it's not even that high on action, and then just the points that they make throughout the movie. It's kind of it's a movie that gets across the point while also having you excited at the same time. And when it comes to just like Kill Bill, I was very enticed to have in this list, but I wasn't sure if all of you have seen that movie. Have you guys?
No,
Seen,
I have
I know of it, but no, I
fully
haven't seen
remember it, but
yeah, Kill Bill is one of the movies that are more like the first two movies we ranked. It's one of those action
mhm.
sort of movies. Uh, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Mr. Nigel argue for his.
All right. Well, first I want to say you guys kind of sold me on the movie. I got to see it now. I think it sounds cool that it's got comedy and some deeper, things involved, and then also even it says Wild West and some great actors and great director. So I'm definitely gonna check that one out. That sounds really cool. So for Deadpool, it's sort of similar, and it was this movie. It's very hilarious. I remember, I saw it once, and then, but not fully. I rewatched it with my parents, and then we watched the second one. I think after the second one had come out. But it was a very funny movie, and the comedy, was definitely a lot different. And it was a superhero movie, so it had a lot of action. And that was really cool to see this action, and he was just hilarious. A great actor, Ryan Reynolds. He was really funny. And one thing that's so cool is a lot of that is him. This character is him. Like he came up with a lot of these lines, and they just kept them in, and a lot of it was just kind of free rolling. So the movie, it feels very natural, and also just crazy and superhero. It's really cool how there's the action and the comedy and just everything, and it just all ties in, and it feels like a really cool and well done movie. And so yeah.
When it comes to Ryan Reynolds, uh, I think this is true, and I heard this in a YouTube video I watched a few weeks back. Ryan Reynolds, have any of you seen X Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe.
They A lot of people just hate what they did with Deadpool in that movie.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, actually, no.
the mark with the mouth, but they sewed up his mouth and didn't allow him to talk. And right after that, Ryan Reynolds has said like a lot of this stuff. Deadpool is what inspired me to become an actor, right? So he made a whole reel. He shot a lot of these like all by himself and made a pitch and sent it to the studio, and that's how the movie, like the original movie idea, got sparked and got created from that point
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's good, yeah. He's been in some bad movies like Green Lantern, and like I like how he makes fun of that in his Deadpool movies.
Oh, I
on. Crazy
see.
metal.
There's so many things I didn't even like catch. It's really cool. His comedy is just, another level, and he's very clever.
Yeah, the way you put Ryan Reynolds in comedy and action, it's like it's a great combination. And one movie I liked that he was in was with Samuel L. Jackson. It's called The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah.
You should definitely watch.
I think
I
I've seen
watched recently. Like the way he was able to be so funny and be serious at the same time when he's performing like actions scenes.
Mhm.
It's a great combination for Ryan Reynolds.
It's just his personality. He is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else that needs to be said, we can vote now.
Mhm.
Alright. I haven't
One
seen the
finger,
first movie, by the way, so.
one finger for Django Unchained, two for Deadpool. Ready, go.
Oh wow! I haven't. Whoa! I thought everybody was gonna say Deadpool.
I was
We
too, but
we convinced
You
Andre.
gotta see
you gotta
Django
watch.
Unchained, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even want to vote there because you guys said that one's such a cool movie, and I love Deadpool.
You know what I just realized? Kingsman, the Secret Service would have been a good matchup versus Deadpool.
Versus Deadpool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just these are just two movies. I think I said in the beginning. It's just they're two movies that you wouldn't expect to put together and like be kind of like the same genre and same feel, but somehow they just are. They
Yeah.
just have like the same tone overall. Okay, next we are moving on to round two. We have John Wick 3, Shawshank Redemption, Inception, Prince of Persia, A Quiet Place, The
Oh,
Dark
sorry.
Knight, Django Unchained, and Kingsman: The Secret Service. This is the most entertaining movies of all time. Hopefully, we can go a bit quicker this time.
Yeah.
But right now, with John Wick 3, we've already made our point. We can argue, but we don't have to go back and go over the whole movie again. But the Shawshank Redemption, it was a surprising movie that I
Mhm.
got from really I didn't really think about this when I thought of excitement and like entertainment. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Billy make his point for this movie.
Oh wow. Let me see. Trying to remember what the surprising thing was. Uh, from this film is in the end with the resolution in the end.
Hmm.
What happened in the end was surprising to me because of the injustice I saw throughout the whole film. Um, I didn't think that the protagonist will come out. I thought it was one of those movies where the protagonist dies, um, and it's like turned sad but beautiful. But what I really liked was the way was the fate of the protagonist. Basically, I did what am I trying to say?
It
It,
just gives you like a sort of joy at the end. That's like an
yeah,
unexpected joy for the protagonist.
yeah, and it wasn't all joyful throughout the movie. Like I said, that's why I didn't expect the protagonist come out alive. As you see, if this guy, the warden, he's a
Mhm.
very unfair guy. Uh, Even his men, the guy right behind him, are very unfair. From the beginning, they beat up prisoners, mistreat prisoners, and then there's also a prisoner that's been in there for a while. He comes out and then he hangs himself because he's been in the prison
Yeah,
for so long and he doesn't know anything other than being in prison, and that's like very sad.
I don't
And
really cry often when it comes to movies.
yeah,
That scene right there when he committed suicide and he was just hanging, it really brought out emotions in me when I was watching the movie.
yeah.
It was a really emotional scene overall.
Yeah, and it's just why you can't expect what happens in the end.
Hmm.
Like surprising, and I was so happy too. And if you remember, yeah, I told you I hadn't seen it before I saw it recently, but like I realized that I saw it uh when he escaped in the rock scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, rock scene. They also do it in Family Guy.
yeah,
That
yeah.
scene was
I'm
a
really gonna
beautiful
say that.
scene. Yeah.
Actually, back to like the whole, a bit of a spoiler here. The guy that committed suicide, once Morgan Freeman got back out, the character that Morgan Freeman plays,
Mhm. Yeah.
But once he gets out and he goes and then he kind of has like a similar parallel experience with like, oh, all I know is prison. And then they had like the exact shot, the cinematography was beautiful there, where they like stand up. And I was really like, I was thinking that even he might have committed suicide, and
Yeah.
that was a sort of entertainment to me that is very different from the other movies that we've been talking about. It just truly brought out the emotions in me. I'm like, oh no, there's no way more stuff, right? And then they finally pan up and they show that he didn't do it. And then it's just a surprise where it just brings out joy and it's like, uh, I forgot his name. He was like, whatever his name was here, right? Just like the other guy, he put blank was here.
Yeah.
And then they cut to him going off on this journey to the point where he finds the main protagonist of the film, and he has the happy ending that they get. Just very unexpected, like you said. It's just a joyful ending overall.
Yeah, and this is not just all talk. IMDb rates this movie as the #1 movie of all time.
Yeah, these are two extremely different movies.
Very much so. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
This it reminds me of The Last Castle, which I know you've seen.
Yes.
We talked about that. But that was a movie. It's a prison movie, prison for military people. And that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the ending, right? That's exactly what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like I was so surprised by the ending, and it was like, wow, you develop that emotional attachment to characters, and stuff is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, when the movie came out, critics absolutely hated this movie just because of how they presented prisoners as the good guys in the film.
Talking about The Last Castle?
No, Shawshank Redemption.
Uh,
When it originally came out, it was hated by critics and just people, audiences overall. It's like, oh, how are these criminals good guys? And you see the wardens who are keeping them away from the bad guys. It angered people at the time. Go ahead.
I saw that, and I was kind of just looking at it to see, and I saw, it said that the prisoners are, painted as good guys and stuff like that, and it was kind of a dud at first at the box office. And that actually reminded me, though, I watched a show recently. Sorry to go off topic so much, but it was called Money Heist, and at first, the first episode, it's really good, but the first episode, might add, was like, the bad guys are always, seen to be the heroes, and it's just not, not quite right. But then he ended up loving it, and we all loved it. And so
Even the Joker, was criticized for glorifying violence.
Yeah.
Initially, and then it's like over time it gets more accepted in society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's especially interesting when you have that, the bad guy is, of course, bad, but like they develop, the character to almost be like oppressed in some way or something like that, like with the wardens and stuff. Like it's very different, and it's it makes you feel for them, even though it's like why, but yeah.
Okay. When it comes to now, like we said, these are two movies on the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's just extreme excitement, extreme depression, sadness overall. It might be a bit hard to choose one, but we have to. So, one finger for John Wick 3, two fingers for the Shawshank Redemption. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
You have an opinion? One?
I
Oh, wow.
know, yeah. I will say that the Shawshank Redemption is a better movie in my opinion, but just when I think about entertainment, it's just more of like the joy, like you said. But like John Wick 3 is just throughout the whole movie, it's like entertaining you with that joy. It's like boom, boom, squeeze.
Which
Mhm.
you said two is what?
Huh?
2 was Shawshank.
Yeah.
Shawshank, right? Okay. You moved over the John Wick, so I was confused there.
Oh shoot! Oh.
I just realized that.
Good catch. Trying to finesse. All right. So in the Shawshank Redemption, it does have a great ending, but throughout the whole movie, I can't lie, I am enticed. I want to watch the movie. It's not, it is a rewatchable movie, but it's not a movie that just has you like on the edge of your seat, like oh, just joyful throughout the whole time. It has you joyful at the very end, but just the first 3 quarters of the movie isn't as fun to say the least as the rest of it. Okay, Inception, Prince of Persia. Uh, we already have our argument for Inception. Prince of Persia is a movie that was recommended by Mr. Nebuchadnezzar. So we're gonna go ahead and allow for him to argue his point here.
Yeah. Okay. So, but the Prince of Persia, it's like when you think about entertainment, that's the movie that first comes to mind because it's like it's set in like in Persia and like I guess what era was that? Like the old medieval type eras, and it's about like a winding time. It's kind of like Inception stuff with like bending reality a little bit, but it's like a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and a lot of like it's just really epic. And it's like there's twists and turns, and it's like a really like epic movie, and it's fun to watch for the whole family. And it's like, but it's not like babyish at all. It's like there's other cool fight scenes too, like where he's jumping from top, like like these really close buildings, and he's like chasing like what do they call it? Like, not samurai, but like they're like Persian like fighters. I don't know their name is on, and it's like yeah, it's just really fun to watch, and it's like there's some scary moments too, and the action scenes are pretty great. And I was thinking like it's just fun to watch, honestly, and it's less thinking, it's less thinking, but it's just more like enjoying. Simple
When
way
you
to put it.
first said, when you first told me that you want to have the Prince of Persia in it,
Yeah.
I originally thought of what was it? There's a movie that The Rock was in that's kind of similar to this one. I thought you were talking about that movie, and I was
Oh, yeah.
completely confused as to why
So
you
what's
would
the
want to
movie?
do it. I'm trying to remember. It's like Scorpion King, I think. The Scorpion King, yeah, yeah. It's a movie with The Rock in it,
Uh,
which I would get kind of when it comes to like excitement. It's a fun movie. It's like a turn your brain off and just watch a movie, right? But the Prince of Persia, it makes more sense than the other movie, the Scorpion King that I originally thought of. But also one movie that I really wanted to have in this that also came to mind was Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. But it was a lot of you guys that hadn't seen it. Like I was kind of surprised by that. It's just Indiana Jones is one of the movies that I really thought should be here.
uh-huh.
Prince of Persia, not to like down put this movie down in any. Actually, I'm putting this movie down probably. But I just thought that Indiana Jones is more like the adventure type film. While this one, what category would you put this under?
Um, I don't even. I guess action, but the thing about this movie is because like it starts one place and then there's like a whole journey and then like it's the most closure in like a movie I've ever seen. It's like it really comes back full circle because they. I don't want to spoil it. Actually, yeah, I can't
I
spoil it.
I think I put an adventure.
Oh, you've seen the movie, Billy?
Yeah, I seen it, but like it was a long time ago, a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
did recently watch like videos. Um, I gotta say some points. What I didn't like is the color. I don't know. I like when like the film it's like bright.
Yeah.
I don't know. It brings more lightness and like bright. I don't know. It makes it alive. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
guess
It's not really
I
like
would
a hack
say
movie.
that when it comes to like the competitor, it's Inception versus Prince of Persia, right?
Hmm.
Inception just has more of like a distinct style to it. It's like Inception is Christopher Nolan's dream. Like this is what he wants. He has a distinct style. It's a directorial movie. It's like this is what I want in a movie, and I got it accomplished. This one just doesn't have that sort of feel. It's like same thing with Django Unchained. It's like Quentin Tarantino has this style, and he knows what he wants to get done in the movie. He gets it done. I just don't get that type of feel with this movie, and that kind of it doesn't ruin it for me in any way. I can definitely have fun while watching. I watched it when I was like 7 or 8, or I watched it a while ago.
Yeah, too long
It's kind of
ago.
yeah, it's kind of blurry in my mind. I'm sure I had fun when I did watch it, but now as I kind of get older and my perception of excitement changes, it's not as fun to me. I might rewatch it and maybe I'll change my mind and maybe it seems more of that exciting movie to me. But it seems more of like a a kids movie that you'll watch it, you have a great time watching it. But as you get older, it doesn't have the same amount of joy as you just have
Maybe it's because I have that. Like when I was younger, I did watch it, and I have like that emotional nostalgic connection that maybe makes it better for me than other people, from my point of view.
there are definitely movies that like I have, and people are like, "Oh, what's one of the movies that you really love?" And I will bring it up, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" It's like I watched it when I was a little kid. I just have that nostalgia to it, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just brings it up, and that's definitely a thing. Entertainment, like we said in the beginning, it's a very subjective thing, and this connection of this aspect of nostalgia does play a good role in it.
I gotta
So
say, I'm surprised you didn't put any Marvel Cinematic Universe movies on here.
I was really tempted to, but we are going to be doing a Marvel ranking next week, so I kind of tried to stray away from that.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Endgame.
Deadpool is Marvel though, right?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
well,
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
like
It's
it's not a universe though.
just right
yeah.
off the bat, if you had to pick, which one would you say is the most exciting in the MCU? What would you say, Nigel?
Based on what you guys said, because I think I've seen Prince of Persia, but it's been like so long.
no,
So
no, no, Nigel.
In the
The
MCU,
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would you say is like the most exciting movie in that universe?
most
Just like right, without any thought, right off the bat.
Like Endgame, Avengers, Infinity War,
All of
Iron Man, Captain America, all those movies.
hmm.
Thor. It could be the recent one, Endgame, because everybody liked that one.
Yeah, they were long, but they were good. I mean, Iron Man started it all, but I watched Iron Man kind of like after some other stuff, so that was kind of like weird. Were the new Spider-Man movie? Well, I
Yeah,
love the
Far
two of them.
the the one with the big twist. I think the newest one. I love
Oh,
that.
From Home.
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
like that one. That was a
That's another
surprising
thing.
twist.
oh
It,
yeah.
That's
yeah.
one thing. Like that movie is catered for us as teenagers, and you can see like we love that movie, and that's just that idea of like more subjectivity coming in once again. But, you're gonna direct this movie to fit for this one class, then that class is gonna love it, but maybe the other class might not. Okay,
Mm,
Yeah.
back on topic now.
okay.
Uh-huh.
One finger for Inception, two fingers for Prince of Persia. Three, two, one, go.
Oh,
That's a good. Okay,
Inception, right?
I understand.
man, do
Now,
I wish I watched The Dark Knight before this, because it's a very hype movie.
you
Oh, you
haven't
haven't.
seen The Dark Knight?
No,
I think
I keep saying I will, man, but I said it 100 times, but
Wow.
there you go.
Yo,
But I
it's
haven't seen either, so it's fine.
I
it's like
think
you
I've
say, Go ahead.
I think I've seen The Dark Knight a few times, or like multiple times, but I remember I watched it not too long ago, a few like years, like maybe 2 years or so. But it was because what I saw, we went into the store actually to get a sound system for the TV. And so in Best Buy, they're showing movies on the TVs and for the sound systems. And there's the stadium with what's his name? That was, the guy with the funny voice.
The
I
Joker.
don't.
What?
Are you
Have
talking
you?
about the Joker?
No,
Or,
no, no, not the Joker. The Bane, right?
Oh yeah, Bane.
oh, dang. Oh, that's the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Oh, am I speaking
It's
another?
the Dark Knight is on the Joker.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
one of my unpopular opinions. When it comes to just, excitement, and like the movie that I like more is Dark Knight Rises, and literally nobody agrees with me on that point. But I don't know, just something about that. I really like Bane as a villain, but just the Dark Knight on my first watch, I don't know. I wasn't able to get really into the movie. but now I've rewatched it 3 times, and last time I watched it was about 2 months ago. And now that I can really like appreciate the cinematic beauty of it, but also Joker's character, Heath Ledger's performance. And just looking at this is the first opening scene, and I don't know what was wrong with me at first, but the entertainment level of it is amazing. The
I'm sorry, I was watching what was going on.
just this is a spoiler. Well, kind of. I won't spoil what actually happened, but just the boat scene. If you remember the two boats, and then which boat when the Joker gives each boat a bomb, and they're like, "Oh, click one bomb to blow up the other one and
That was
save
deep.
yourself." Yeah, that it was like deep. It was like the same thing where it comes to Django Unchained. It's like not funny, but it has like that level of excitement to it. Except for like the comedy, it's a very serious scene. You're like, oh shoot, and it has you on the edge of your seat. You truthfully do not know what's about to happen because
Yeah,
one boat is full of convicts, the other one is just normal everyday people, and that is one of the things that really just entertained me. It had me on the edge of my seat, and it got me much more into the movie all the way until the end.
yeah.
And I never realized how long The Dark Knight actually is. It's only what is it? It's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, but it feels much shorter to me, despite being a much
Oh,
longer.
wow.
And Billy, like you say, this isn't just like all talk. The Shawshank Redemption might be like the best movie with like a 9.2 rating on IMDb. The Dark Knight is
Mhm.
right up there as the second best.
Yeah.
According
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been looking at some Rotten Tomato, ratings of these, and it's funny because some of these movies that you think are really good can have pretty low ratings, and then but they can also have really high ratings. So it's interesting,
Yeah.
just what you kind of see in them, like The Dark Knight. So let's see, The Dark Knight has a 94, and then let's see what's The Quiet Place at. Oh, you got it. Or
The Dark Knight Rises has I think somewhere around there, not 87.
87. Well, okay. What about A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place, it was very critically acclaimed, 95.
95.
95.
I'm just gonna say though, Rotten Tomatoes for me, it's due to water. To be honest,
It could be hit or
they
miss.
hit Harry Potter at 75 for one of them movies. I don't know how. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't.
Sometimes they surprise you. Like you think it'd be good, but yeah, that's Rotten Tomatoes for you.
But you also, when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, they show you the critic score. There's also an audience score that's probably more
Yeah.
fit to us overall.
Yeah.
Okay, unless anybody has anything else to say, let's go ahead and rank these two. Uh, one finger for A Quiet Place, two fingers for The Dark Knight.
Wait, is this the last one
Three,
or second last? Semifinals.
second to last in the
Okay.
semifinals.
Quarterfinals.
Or in the quarterfinals, yeah. Okay,
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go get my brother one
Wait,
more time.
Billy. I mean, yeah, like you pick The Quiet Place.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
what I
love The
said.
Dark Knight, but just entertainment. A Quiet Place just has that aspect to it that just makes it more entertaining to me.
It's crazy too because it's a horror movie, but it's
Yeah,
entertaining. You guys have to. Have you seen it, Billy? I know I've told you about it a lot.
No. Don't nowhere. I will.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
okay,
It's
my brother is here once again. Would you rather watch? Do you think The Dark Knight or A Quiet Place is the more entertaining? He goes with A Quiet Place once again.
Oh my god. He saw that movie?
Yeah, he's seen both of them.
Okay. Oh, as a kid, I'm surprised he didn't pick The Dark Knight.
I don't know, he,
well, that's what's
uh,
cool. It's
he has
like
very
I'm
strong
not super
opinions.
into horror, but I love A Quiet Place, and I think even some people who don't really like horror can really like that because it's just
Yeah, But what I like about some horror movies is, again, comedy. To me, comedy is important. Like the scary movie franchise, or all the movies, they're not like good movies, but they're not good horror movies. But when it comes to comedy, yeah, definitely.
Like the Dark Knight is fun for the whole family. But should we say
Oh,
the
The
same
Quiet
for the
Place.
Packers?
I watched The Quiet Place with my whole family,
Yeah,
and
I did too in the theater, and it was awesome. We all loved it.
I was really bummed out when The Quiet Place 2 got moved to September.
I know. I was so ready. We were all gonna, this was basically right when all this was happening with quarantine and everything. So like we were gonna go see it in theaters, and then that was when the theaters were getting shut down.
Yes. We are here as of now. This is the final round in the, what is it? The round before the quarterfinals.
Uh,
No, this is the quarterfinals.
yeah.
Okay, in the quarterfinals, Django Unchained versus Kingsman: The Secret Service. Uh, I mean, this is another movie that, just like Deadpool, they are two movies that somehow, unexpectedly, are very close tonally. I think that it was Nigel who suggested Kingsman. I'm
Yeah,
gonna allow for him to take this away.
I remember though. I saw this with some people. Did you come, Nevels, and see
What
this?
movie was it?
Kingsman.
I don't think I did.
No, maybe it
I
was
don't
like
Oh, that scene.
Kyle and Ethan. But okay, I'll talk about this real quick. I watched a movie recently called The Gentleman,
Mhm.
and it sort of reminded me of Kingsman, um, but like in a different way. So Kingsman offers something definitely very different from what it sounds like, Deadpool and Django might
Yeah,
offer.
yeah.
Have you seen The Gentleman? Have
I've
any of
heard of
you?
it. I have
haven't.
not gotten around to seeing it though.
Yeah. It was pretty good. It had some twists and stuff. Okay, so for Kingsman, this was it's definitely a funny movie. Oh, is that guy? Oh wait, okay. I thought that was Kingsman for a second because I was like, that guy's in The Gentleman for sure.
That was the gentleman. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was The Gentleman. I thought like that was Kingsman. I was like, wait, he was in The Gentleman, but it has a similar style. So it's the Kingsman definitely has kind of almost like the setting and the scenery is very cool because it's like they're kind of formal, but yet they're funny and it's crazy and like brutal and just like it's cool because it's like they're like almost these spies, I guess. Correct, Billy?
Mhm.
Like, and so they're like they wear these suits and stuff and have all these fancy gear, but then you have all this like fighting and all of that. It's cool. It's got some crazy scenes in it. Like one for example is the what was the song the guy was singing? Mountain.
Remember the scene in the church where they all just fight. Everybody in the
Yeah,
church just goes
Oh, the
crazy.
fighting scene.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that it's almost one of those classic, like, older guy versus young, kids who are like, oh, trying to cause trouble, and then the older guy just shows them up. That happened in that scene, and it was a really cool, fight
Wait,
scene, and you just
wait,
feel like,
which scene are you talking about? This video or the one we were just looking at? For the older guy showing younger guy.
I think it might be this one that he's talking about.
Okay.
are
Yeah,
you I'm talking about the bar one. I don't know if that was,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
okay, yeah. But it definitely, especially the start to Kingsman, I'm even forgetting like all of it's coming back to me. But with the whole like everything just hits you, and then the story starts building and building and building. Like you remember he was like away and just boom, everything
Yeah.
changed. You know,
The
um,
style of fighting too. Just looking at this video, the style of fighting is very distinct from any other movie. It was
yeah.
a bit unexpected too.
Yeah.
and there were so many. There was the scene that I was talking about. What was it? Where the guy's singing and in the woods. Let me see. And he's singing West Virginia, right? No, of course the song. Like I can't even think of the song. About the mountain. The popular song.
Wait, describe the scene. Like
Okay,
maybe
wait,
I
wait.
remember.
Oh, country. Yeah, he's singing "Country Roads." Okay, there. I
Country
couldn't
Road.
think of it. Yeah, and he's in. You can look up the scene. Country Roads is kind of a spoiler a little bit, but Kingsman Country Roads scene. But that was just like,
Oh
wow,
yeah.
you're attached to these characters, and
Is this in the second one?
Yeah, this is from
Yeah,
the
this is
beginning.
the
oh, this is
second.
the Golden Circle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was kind of talking about the
Okay, I
Golden
haven't
Circle
seen
more
this
so.
yet.
Okay.
When it comes to the Golden Circle, it didn't really meet my expectations when I saw it.
Hmm.
The Secret Service had much more like, it's like a lot of movies that set a distinct tone and set a distinct atmosphere, the fighting style, and then once you see it again, it's not as exciting as the first time you saw it. And also just the premise overall, it's like, there's a Kingsman and then there's the same exact thing just in America. Seems a bit forced and it didn't work overall for me. But the original movie, this one it was just new to me. And it really did excite me as I watched it. And that's one thing that I have to say about I know John Wick 3 didn't get by, but that's one thing where first movie you see it, second movie, it's a similar fighting style, but it still excites you, and then the third movie it's still exciting you and adding more. Kingsman just didn't quite do that for me. The second one.
The second, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so unless anybody has anything more to say, we have Django Unchained, one finger, versus Kingsman: The Secret Service for two fingers. Remember which one is more entertaining to
Well,
you.
so the one we just talked about was what again?
Kingsman: The
Kingsman.
Secret
Kingsman: The
Service.
Secret Service.
Uh,
Number two, Kingsman: The Secret Service.
3 for
One finger
Deadpool.
for Django Unchained.
Said
One
three.
Django Unchained, two
wait,
fingers.
what?
Nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, 3, 2,
Wait, what's the numbers? What do we?
One,
you.
one, two,
One
and three.
finger for one finger for Django Unchained. Two fingers for Kingsman: The Secret Service.
And
Uh,
3 for Deadpool.
3,
Deadpool was a great movie, but
2, 1, go. Eh,
I
three,
haven't seen
Django,
either of these movies, and I just like the explanation y'all gave.
3 to 1. Okay, now we are here in the semifinals. Or no, these are the finals, aren't they?
these are the
No,
semifinals.
These are the semifinals. I'm tripping. Okay.
My
So,
phone is about to die. It's at 4%, so I might have to. If I die in the middle and come back, it's because I found a different device.
All right.
okay.
Just lying.
Shawshank Redemption, Inception, A Quiet Place, Django Unchained. Most entertaining movies of all time. Let's go ahead and we don't really need to argue specifically for the movie anymore because we've done it for every movie. But if
Mhm.
there's a specific movie that you want to argue for, just like why is it better than the other, go ahead and do that. We'll start off Shawshank Redemption versus Kingsman: The Secret Service. Nope, I'm tripping again. Shawshank Redemption versus Inception. My bad.
Yeah. All of these, I'd like to point out, they're very different. We've got horror, we've got some like action, we've got like
We have one
I
about
don't know.
racism. We have one
Yeah.
about prison. It's just
Prison.
all over the place, and it's just like a whole bunch of different perspectives coming in here. That's why I kind of wanted more people to come in and like I said in the beginning, kind of bring in an objectivity into the subjectivity of this ranking overall.
Mhm.
Okay, just I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like I said, when it comes to like John Wick 3 versus Shawshank Redemption, when it comes to just entertainment, I would rather I would think that Inception has its beat just because of the it's like it's not numbness action, but it's action that you can watch without giving you like a whole bunch of thoughts, and it's not gonna. Inception definitely has some more sad moments with spoiler here, just the premise of his wife, Leonardo DiCaprio. His wife had died, right, and now that's just really being a toll on his mind, and it's a whole movie about going into dreams, but because his wife died. I'm not going to spoil that part exactly how she died, but that part right there just really takes a big toll on him and restricts him from doing anything or making his own dreams up, being the best that he can in that specific, in his genre, like in his profession, I guess. And that's just like one of the things. It does have that emotional aspect, but overall excitement for me is just the action more than the thought, and they just go really deep into it. It's like boom, action here. Give it a little bit more exposition. You understand now, boom, more action, and just keeps on going that way. Where Shawshank Redemption doesn't do that for me as much.
Yeah, but there it's more about the story and kind of like the feeling it gives you, and like, you know, thought provoking and that sort of thing. So they're definitely very different in that sense. But um kind of reminded me, like I said, the Shawshank Redemption reminded me of the Last Castle, which that reminds me of Bronx Tale. I don't know that any of you guys have seen that. But that movie just like, I was at the, you know, the beach, and just watching movies, and I turned on to, you know, a movie channel, um, and they were playing movies, and that movie came on, and I just kind of sat down and watched it. Look it up real quick. But sorry to kind of go off topic, but it's called A Bronx Tale. It was just, it kind of left me in awe with the ending and stuff that happens in the movie. It was so different, and it was like, you know, what did I watch? But I really really liked it. Um, and so it's kind of
Definitely.
like one of those things where it's not about the action or that, it's more so the story and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and also just another thing that goes into the idea of excitement is we touched on it a little bit throughout this podcast, but it's something new, it's something you haven't seen before, and that excites you, right? It's like something that is, like you said, either when it comes to like thought provoking, in the sense of action, like the hallway scene that you've never seen before, and it's new. Either way, it's like excitement. If it's something you've already seen before and you know it might end this way, it won't be as exciting as something like, oh shoot, this is new. I've never even heard of this. I've never thought of this before, and it just excites you to think, oh shoot, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what is going to occur in this scene, so I'm more invested into it. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, like Billy says, like you didn't really, you had one thing already preconceived about what's going to happen in the Shawshank Redemption, and then they completely just subvert your expectations and have the ending more joyful than depressing.
Uh,
Yeah.
one thing I would like to say about Shawshank Redemption, why I like it, is another reason is like because of the character. I like to bring up the scene you were actually just showing, where they were holding him to a knife. They were about to make him actually perform some sexual activity that he didn't want to do. And he got
Yeah,
out of it, but they still beat him up. That what that showed in this character is like the how he was able to overcome like such harshness,
mm-hmm.
like first with his wife cheating on him, and I believe I can't remember at the beginning, but when he was accused of murder, he said he didn't do it, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I believed him, but yeah, he still got sentenced. With this guy always trying to make him perform sexual activities,
Mm-hmm.
the warden uses him for his own benefit, and then when he tries to gain when he's tired of it, the warden tries to kill him or scare him. And the fact that he's able to overcome all that, he gains respect from the other inmates, and he rises up through the ranks of the prison, I guess. I would like to say, and he just becomes a very strong character in the very end. The character build up in this movie is really great. And one thing I like to say why another reason why I like to say why is a little I like it more than Inception is probably because I don't know in Inception one thing I will see is it might be very difficult for the audience to perceive, like to understand what's going on. I feel like it will require explanation and also
Yeah.
what's going on. It'd be hard to keep up with. And to me, I find it that for movies not simple enough to keep up with, I don't know, it's kind of hard to enjoy.
Okay, yeah, that's also, like I said earlier, that's one of the critiques I do have. They use, it is a very complex thought and complex premise, and the fact that they just use the female lead as pretty much expository, like something. She's new into the world, and this is something that a lot of movies do. You know, they have one character that doesn't really know everything, so they explain everything to that character. But truly, they're just explaining everything to us, and that's just one of the critiques I do after this. But just excitement wise and entertainment wise, I would say that Inception is like up, it's top tier. It's up there as one of the best ever. Just the action, set pieces, the practical effects overall. It just had me invested into the movie. Okay, Nebi, are you there? Uh, Not sure what's happening there, but we will vote anyways. Shawshank Redemption, one finger. Inception, two fingers. Three, two, one. Shawshank Redemption. Okay, now moving on to A Quiet Place versus Django Unchained, a horror film that's much more new, much more. Both of these films have a very interesting premise. A Quiet Place is more unique. Django Unchained takes more from the black exploitation films of the 70s and 80s.
Hmm.
I kind of want to just like previously in the other one, we've already talked about this and given our points. If there's a reason that either of you like want to say something, talk more before we move in to just voting, go ahead and say something. But if not, we can just go straight into voting for this one.
I mean, I guess just talking about Quiet Place because I love it so much. It's like, it's just cool how the story just, it like speaks for itself. It's one of those movies where, it doesn't need a whole lot of explanation, but it kind of gives it to you um, in just like what you're watching and you're just like, wow. And that's what's so cool. I'm excited for the second one because that's supposed to show before, when everything, I watched the trailer for the second one and it's supposed to show what everything was like before and when it's happening, which normally it can be very hard to do in a movie, like monsters and a lot of people don't really mix most of the time. It's sort of like, these independent scenes where it's just like one person goes off and splits off and that sort of thing. So that's going to be kind of interesting with the second one. But A Quiet Place, I mean, it's like, it's just different than any other horror movie. It's like you have, it's got you on the edge of the seat and the story, it has a really cool story that doesn't like need a whole lot of explaining, but makes perfect sense, and just
Mr. Nebi has returned.
yeah,
Can you hear us?
we can't hear him. He said he can hear us though, right? Thumbs up if you can hear us. He says he's talking. I don't know.
Okay, we're going to move
I
on.
just heard him.
We're gonna hope that Nebi gets his stuff. Actually, you guys want to pause for a second to help out with Nebi?
Yeah.
See, I think it's figuring it out.
Resuming now. Okay, we are back. Nebi was not able to return, but he did
He
vote
was
for
talking with
Quiet Place now. Is there anybody else that has anything more to say about Django Unchained or A Quiet Place before we vote?
I'd like to say something about Django Unchained. One thing I really like in Django Unchained is also this also deals with character. is the way how they're able to turn a bad trait of the character into like a good thing. And I'm talking about Django's arrogance. Like in the beginning, he's just afraid, but later, as you see, he becomes more and more arrogant because he's a free man, and uh he's like he has shot some people, arrested some people, and I saw it also as a good thing because I don't know that was able to show willpower, I
Mhm.
guess. That was able to strengthen the black race who wasn't given that much freedom back then or that much voice, and that's one thing I really liked about him.
Yeah, he goes from just like a slave in shackles to, he retrieved his wife.
Yeah,
He burned up and he blew up everything. Just looking at like just the imagery itself, you can see how he goes from just
yeah,
here, just a slave being walked across by slave owners, to here, blowing up a building,
yeah, and he's
getting the girl of his dreams, all that.
yeah, and he's so scared of like the white men at the beginning versus in the end.
Yeah.
Like he like I said about the scene before where the doctor
Mm-hmm.
shot a sheriff. Like he was so scared, but in the end, he's the one that shot a bunch of white people, knowing
Yeah.
he could have been hanged.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's vote. One
All
finger
right.
for A Quiet Place, two fingers for Django Unchained. 3, 2.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, what is up?
Okay, 3, 2,
Okay.
1, go.
All right.
A Quiet Place. It is.
Gotta watch it, man.
I really did want to go for Django Unchained there, but this is entertaining and just kind of excitement. And A
Mhm.
Quiet Place is like Nigel says, it's like a edge of your seat thriller where it does follow some of the like the horror movie tropes. It's like, oh, sometimes one character will just go out by itself, but
Yeah.
by herself or himself. But overall, it is a very unique movie. And also the length itself, it's only an hour and 30 minutes long, but it packs in so much action in that hour and 30.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, here we are in the finals. Shawshank Redemption and A Quiet Place. Two movies that are really different overall. Um, you guys want to say something, go ahead. I think I know which one I'm gonna pick, but you guys go ahead if you have any arguments.
Yeah, it was interesting what you just said just a second ago, about entertaining. Talking about all these movies, you almost forget about why we even, what the main topic is, and you
Mhm.
just think about all these movies. But yeah, thinking about, entertainment, it is A Quiet Place is a very edge of your seat movie, and it was very entertaining. But
Okay, you guys want to go ahead and vote now?
Wait, what did Nephew say?
Um,
Adorable? Oh, honorable.
honorable? Can we? Oh, yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. First thing I want to do, or one thing I kind of like irked me a little bit was just uh, that bottom like vote there with Deadpool. I think Deadpool is just such a great movie. I
mhm.
went for Django Unchained because I wanted to kind of take you guys' word for it, and it did sound pretty cool. But Deadpool is definitely, it's just so entertaining. And yeah, we could talk about some other movies too, but it was just it was awesome how they combined the two things, and it's got a second one. And I think the second is just as good as the first. They're different,
Mhm.
but it's really cool. The comedy and the action. It was just like nothing else, and there had never really been a rated R superhero movie kind of, or maybe there had, but this was
Yeah,
like,
looking at the other rated R movie that came out around the same time, Logan. Both
oh,
Marvel,
yeah,
both they had that rated R aspect to it, and they're really two different films.
They are very different. Yeah, Logan was really cool, like with the action and stuff. I loved how I love Wolverine. He's so cool. But that one was very, kind of brutal, and that was why that one was rated R. This one was
The Mark with the Mouth.
this one
Yeah, go ahead.
it was comedy. That's what made it rated R. It
Yeah.
had some really funny, but kind of inappropriate stuff. Let's see. If you ever watched Joker, you gotta tell me. Reaction any movie.
Okay, so as of now, it's A Quiet Place versus Shawshank Redemption. If anybody else has some honorable mentions,
Honorable
we're
mention.
gonna have. We did have a list of about like I had a list of maybe 60 to 70 films. All of them did not make it. We kind of wanted to skim it down. You can see this itself took nearly 2 hours to do. So skim it down for now, and we may possibly do a part two to this later on, maybe in future podcasts. There will be that entire list will be in the description to see some of the movies. There are multiple reasons why they didn't make it, but for now, the most entertaining movies of all time. Very subjective list. Shawshank Redemption versus A Quiet
Can I
Place.
give an honorable mention?
Go ahead.
Honorable mention that's not on this list. I'd say Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah.
Yo, Forrest Gump is a really great movie. It's sad, but I don't know. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some other things. I guess we. I think some other things. I guess we. Oh,
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, finally! This has been. I've been trying to figure this out.
It has some echo.
Two mics, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm back. Okay.
Some things we only had like one. I guess.
Nephew, go on mute for a second. All right, go ahead, Nigel. Nigel, you're on mute.
Oh, okay. I thought he muted.
Oh,
Nebby.
God.
You didn't have a
Go on mute.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that was driving me crazy. We didn't have a whole lot of comedy in here, which comedy can be very entertaining.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna thinking about.
I
Go
think
ahead.
comedy kind of can change too, because there are movies that you see as you're younger, and then they're not so funny, when you're older. One comedy I loved, where the storyline was really cool, was called Masterminds, and it was just like it was a crazy storyline, with a lot of cool twists and stuff. But then I mean, some classic comedy movies, Ride Along and stuff like that. Grown Ups is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so those are some really funny movies.
Hangover.
Very entertaining. What, you got some comedy movies, Billy?
The Hangover trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking at some older ones too, just like
Your mic.
Okay, looking at some of the older comedies too, looking at Blazing Saddles, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail, also the Life of Brian. All of those movies, they're kind of timeless comedies where I watched them maybe like 30 years after their release, but they still made me laugh either way.
Yeah.
Even like the Austin Powers trilogy, all of those movies, comedy is definitely a sort of entertainment and it plays a big factor in entertainment. We were just talking about Deadpool, and all of these movies have to have some sort of comedy in it, comedic release through entertainment.
And that brings about entertainment. One last movie I just completely forgot about as comedy, I think might be one of my favorite comedies, is Daddy's Home. I love that. Maybe go on another list.
Let's let Nebby talk.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna say, is good movies, all of Harry Potter movies, and Narnia movies. Those that and watching together, story, watching a franchise, mostly when they watch well,
Maybe I didn't get a word of that.
I couldn't understand it at all either. Oh my gosh. It's not you, Neville. It's your mic. Something is like awful. Oh.
The fact that he kept talking, everything was okay.
We just couldn't understand a word, and he just keeps going on and on and on.
We're sorry, Nebby. We just can't hear what you're saying. Like the mic is cutting.
Yeah, like very often.
It was like literally nothing we could understand. Like it wasn't like a word would cut out here and there. It was awful.
Okay. So, you guys ready to vote for the definitive, subjective, unobjective list of the most entertaining movies of all time?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let's switch it up. One finger for A Quiet Place, two fingers for Shawshank Redemption. Okay? 3, 2, 1. A Quiet Place it is.
All right.
Okay, we started off with 12 kind of similar but also very different movies, and for now we have The Quiet Place, A Quiet Place, as our most entertaining movie of all time. Once again, the concept of just entertainment is a very subjective thing. It's dependent on past experiences. What do you like in a movie? A movie is a medium of entertainment, and everything in a film, from the emotional aspects to the visual to every other artistic aspect that directors incorporate into their films, are for our entertainment. And as of now, we are saying that A Quiet Place really shows. I believe the director was John Krasinski, and it really shows his.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
really-
like
Go ahead.
about the fact that John Krasinski was in the movie with Emily Blunt is
Yeah.
that being a couple in real life made it 10 times easier to portray a couple in the movie as well.
It is a very heartfelt movie for John Krasinski. He said it's directly made for his kids and just to like show them the love and adoration that he has for them.
Yeah.
That kind of
And you
influences.
feel that in the movie.
Yeah.
You get attached to the characters, and no spoilers, but there's some crazy stuff that happens. You know what I'm talking about, Yabanek, especially with the ending.
Yeah.
And it's just like you just you're so attached to these characters, and it feels like a real family. Like they are, and they have a newborn baby, and it's just like how do you keep a newborn baby quiet and
Yeah.
with the crying and all of that, and it's just. That was something that was really cool was the emotional attachment while being on the edge of your seat made it just that much more real and that much more entertaining because you're hoping for certain things to happen and they might not happen, they might happen, so it's just like having that attachment adds to the suspense, which makes it more entertaining in the end.
Yeah. And just on that, uh, I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, but just the young girl, the
Well,
very beginning of the movie, they show that this is a serious movie by killing off a child, and
Yeah.
that really does echo throughout the entire movie and makes the rest of it just more. You gotta pay attention. What are they gonna do? This somehow it has to be redemptive, but also you have to keep yourself alive. It's a thriller, and you know that something's gonna happen that's gonna thrill you, and it just accomplishes so many different things at once. And I definitely can't say that it's a bad pick for the most entertaining movie of all time. It's a great pick actually. And there are a whole bunch of, like we said, honorable movies here, amazing movies that are not even on this list. that we might have a list in the future that we do in ranks. But overall, I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming here and doing a great job. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Naj.
it was a lot of fun. You know, one thing I want to do real quick is I think we should all pick our second pick because I think that's interesting. Because you know, with the whole voting thing,
Quick, time's about to go out. I would say Inception.
yeah, I would say Deadpool.
John Wick 3 or Django. My bad.
Oh, he said Joker. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
Joker. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, go subscribe to Nebi's channel. Do all that. There will be a lot of information in the description. Thank you very much for watching.
Of course.
It was fun. Thank you, guys.